The average person is said to spend 15 minutes in the bathroom. Why not take advantage of that time and learn something new? Presenting the 15-minute podcast on weird facts, crazy details, and funny particulars that you'll be able to enjoy while you're taking a on your free time. Welcome to The Shit with Sam Butler. Welcome to another episode of The Shit Podcast. I have a very special guest, stand-up comedian, friend, El Pasoan who resides in Las Vegas. I think this guy's like a cornerstone of the Las Vegas comedy scene. I know he's been there for a long time. I know there's some big guys in Vegas, but you're one of the guys, you're like the glue that holds it together. Every time I go to Vegas, it's like you want to talk to you want to know what's going on, talk to Freddy. With us, Freddy Correa. Welcome to the show, bro.
That was very nice. That's like the best intro I've ever had.
It's the truth, though. I mean, I've been going. I did shows in Vegas, and I would go to Vegas, and they're like, "Oh, talk to Freddy. He knows what's going on."
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, even when we were doing the refried shows in Vegas, I mean, you introduced us to different guys that were putting on shows so that we can do our own shows in Vegas. So it was cool. I mean, it was. So I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad you're in town. This is going to air like 2 weeks after, but we had a great show last night. It was amazing, you know, at the comic strip here in El Paso. But thanks for coming to Juarez and recording the podcast. We're doing the Shit Podcast. I actually wanted to talk to you about something that I think a lot of people are going to know about the topic. I think there's even a documentary that came out a couple of years ago about this particular person. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you already saw the title. But we're talking about André the Giant.
Yes. André the Giant.
You a big wrestling fan?
You know, I had two phases. Okay. I had a phase when the Hulk Hogan, André the Giant, Ultimate Warrior era.
Yeah.
I went away from it, and then I came back in my teen years when The Rock, Stone Cold.
Really?
Yeah. So I had like two different phases I got into it.
Yeah, I guess I'm a lot older than you because I was like into the Von Erichs and all those guys, you know, like back when it was like world-class wrestling or something. It was like
The Rock's dad?
Yeah, it was like very old school, and I think there was I can't even remember a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
Because I got into it for a few years I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And then it was like my ADD kicked in and I was outside. I wasn't watching a lot of TV. I was just outside playing.
I used to watch Lucha Libre with my friends here, Nader and Edgar, in Juarez, and we used to pretend we were like El Perro Aguayo, you know, Máscara Sagrada, you know, all those. Yeah,
so you were into the Mexican wrestling?
Yeah. I used to watch it with my dad. And then in the commercials, we would start fighting.
Yeah, I think that's every kid in watching any kind of wrestling. It's like commercial break, let's throw it out.
Yeah, let's do what we just saw on TV. Yeah.
But it was like I said, I wasn't into it a lot, but I was an André the Giant fan. Mm-hmm. I became a fan of André the Giant in that movie, The Princess Bride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he did that, he was like the gentle giant.
Yeah.
You know, he was nice, he was courteous, and
he crossed over because he was always the bad guy, the heel.
Yeah.
You know?
They said they couldn't let him win. Mm-hmm. Because if they let him win, he'd have to lose his title, and that would ruin him. Mm-hmm. So they said, we'll never let him win.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think about that, that's like a life lesson, you know, like sometimes people won't let you win because they don't want you to win, you know, and winning might be worse than losing all the time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
It's
because
weird, right?
if you get that prize right away, what else are you fighting for then? Mm-hmm. What else? If it doesn't, it's like what they say, enjoy the journey, right?
Yeah. I mean, I say that all the time. I like taking road trips, and my kids are like, "Dad, why do you like driving so much?" I go, "It's the journey. I like stopping off, and I like
it's the funnest part."
Yeah, I like stopping at a gas station and buying gas station nachos or whatever. Yeah. I smoke cigars, so sometimes I'll stop and I'll enjoy a sunset somewhere smoking a cigar. You know?
Yeah.
And it adds time to your trip, but it's something that's very enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. A little bit about André the Giant. Did you know that he was French?
No.
Yeah, he was actually born in France.
I thought he was like Albanian or something like that.
Yeah, well, he is.
Oh.
But not Albanian, but he was born in France.
Yeah.
Yeah. His parents were like, let me see.
So they're like immigrants.
They're immigrants to France, yeah. I think he was Polish, and I'm trying to find the other... Are you part Polish or what, bro?
Yeah, I'm part Jewish.
Okay.
So from Poland.
You're a bad Jew, bro, because we had pork.
We had some pork.
We had some pork earlier.
Pork tacos.
Yeah. But Belgian. He was Belgian and Polish.
Yeah.
But he was born in France. Well, it was funny because there's like 3 cities that they think he may have been born in.
They think.
Okay. They're not for sure.
Yeah.
But they think he was born in 1946. And they're thinking he may have been born. I'm going like, that dude was so big, he was probably born in all 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, he died in 1993. He was 46 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, it's kind of scary because I'm 45.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, dang.
Well, giants don't live that long.
Yeah, and that's something that he was aware of as well.
He knew, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody had told him, I mean, your condition is not going to...
And I heard he was a drink. I haven't seen the documentary. I just heard from like different stories from other wrestlers that he would pound beer after beer after beer.
That's one of the details. That's one of the facts that I found.
Oh shit!
He has the. Well, no, it's fine. Let's talk. I mean, this is exactly what we want to do. Just conversate about it.
Yeah.
He has the unofficial world record. For the most amount of beers drunk in one sitting. 156.
156 beers.
156 beers.
What's the most beers you think you ever drink in one day?
I drank 12. Well, not in one day.
In one party night.
In a few hours, like New Orleans. 12 to 15 beers.
12, 15. Just beer, no liquor?
Just beer. What happened was in New Orleans, there was this one place, and it doesn't exist anymore. It's got a different name. All the places are always stay, but they change ownership, they change branding or whatever. But there's this place called Bourbon Street Blues Company, and it was on Bourbon Street. And if you went upstairs, they'd give you a 3-for-1.
Yeah.
So you'd go, I'll take an Abita, which is their local beer, and they'd pop out 3 beers, and they'd put them in a 32-ounce Slurpee cup, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so they'd pour 3 beers into the Slurpee cup. And you're like, okay. And so you'd have the Slurpee cup and a little bit of beer left in the bottle. So you'd drink the one in the bottle because they wouldn't let you take the bottle.
Yeah.
Out to the balcony. And then you take your Slurpee cup to the balcony. Well, you could easily drink 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah.
Without even thinking about it. I'm not a very heavy drinker. So that was a lot of beer for me.
Yeah.
You know, but...
I don't think I've gone that much. I've probably done 8 or something.
Yeah, I think it also has to do with physical size. You know, like my stomach's bigger than yours. I could probably hold in 6 beers at a time.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you were just drinking beer. I like to mix it with liquor.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. Now we have a podcast here called Puros y Pistos, where we talk about cigars, and my co-host brings a whiskey.
Yeah.
And usually a beer that pairs with the cigar we're talking about.
Okay.
Sometimes just in that 45 minutes that we're doing the podcast, I'm already feeling like, whoa. Yeah, because we're mixing them.
Yeah, and you're getting that buzz.
And he's bringing good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is a double extra stout. And you're going like, oh, that tastes real tasty. Next thing you're going like, whoa, this was... one of the episodes somebody wrote like, are you high? I was like, no, I was drunk.
Yeah, dude.
Totally different, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
But it's kind of the fun of that podcast that we're actually drinking some beer and smoking some cigars.
Yeah.
You know?
Who do you think recorded that he drank that many beers? That's crazy.
Well, it was like it was like a
challenge?
No.
Put it on the board.
I think officially they have them like for 140 beers, but somebody said, I once saw him do 156. And I think that's why it's like unofficial. Like nobody, like Guinness wasn't there counting.
Yeah.
But it was a problem because this dude loved to drink.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest things is that he really loved to drink.
Yeah.
And one of the weird facts that I found, it might not be, I don't know if I'd never watched the documentary. I just thought he was a very interesting person. I wanted to do an episode about him. But, and we'll talk about a couple of the things of why I decided to do this episode about him, even though I'm not a big wrestling fan. I was more of a fan of the person as an actor, because it was like, I remember The Princess Bride was one of my favorite movies.
Right.
But as a kid growing up, I thought that movie was amazing, right? But one of the weird facts was that he was, when he was filming The Princess Bride, he drank so much, because he could drink 156 beers, but he would actually take whiskey in a beer pitcher and drink it.
Oh shit!
Right?
Yeah.
And they say his hands were so big that you could fit a silver dollar through his ring.
Wow!
Right, which is pretty big size finger. He had sausage hands. I mean, they said he had to dial with a pencil because he couldn't fit his fingers in the holes for the dials for the phone. So he had to use a pencil to dial the phone.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it was rotary or if it was a touchstone, but he could not avoid not hitting two buttons at a time, kind of a thing.
Do you think he was like Shaq, like big?
Yeah, I mean, he was 7'4".
7'4".
So Shaq's what, like 7'2", 7'3"?
Something like that. I heard he has a small wiener though.
Maybe. I heard. It's possible. Yeah. Know. Relatively speaking, I'd be like 12 inches. Dude, that's tiny. I mean, it's all relative to what you're talking about, bro. You know, it's like
for a giant.
For a giant, that's pretty small.
It's pretty small, dude.
But André the Giant got so drunk.
Yeah.
He collapsed in the lobby of the hotel.
While filming The Princess.
Well, no, he was at the hotel during the filming.
Oh, during the filming.
Well, they were staying at a hotel. Yeah. Everything was shot in England. He passes out in the hotel lobby, drunk.
Yeah.
Blackout drunk.
Whoa.
He weighs 520 pounds.
Oh, my God.
They can't move him.
Half a ton.
They can't move the guy.
Yeah.
So what do? They put the red velvet ropes around him in the lobby, waited for him to sober up and get up on his own.
Whoa!
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I was like, that's pretty bad.
They just left him in the lobby. Let him sleep.
They just put those little pedestals and the red velvet ropes. So
can you imagine if people had cell phones?
Yeah, I mean that was different times. Yeah, that would have been great. You know.
Yeah, that was in the 80s.
The 80s, 90s. Yeah, it was the 80s.
I wonder if anybody snapped a picture. Somebody must have had one of those.
Yeah, one of the disposables or even a Polaroid.
Yeah, this is before. I don't think I saw disposables till the 90s, bro. Mm-hmm. This is like the one where you probably had to put the flash and
turn it
because the flash.
Or it was those long, skinny ones with the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know those long, skinny cameras that had the flash on the end.
Yeah,
that's what they had.
I remember those.
Yeah,
Polaroids were out, right? Damn, there's got to be a picture of that. That's crazy.
Yeah. They said he passed out. He passed out on the floor.
Wow.
And of course, in the wrestling world, I mean, the WWE Hall of Fame, which when I was a kid it was WWF, and then one day it changed to WWE.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Well, it's because we got sued and we had to change it."
Yeah,
well,
we got sued.
WWE started the Hall of Fame in 1993 because of André the Giant.
Wow.
And he was the only inductee for 1993 for his generation. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That year that he died.
The year that he died is when they started.
Wow.
That dude grew so fast that he left home when he was 14 and came back when he was 17. His parents didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
It's so fast that grew.
So he came back and they didn't even know it was him.
No. I mean, imagine your kid leaves 6 foot tall, comes back 7.5 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going from freshman year to 10th grade, just in 3 months. When I left to summer break, I was shorter than girls. And when I came back, I grew like, I don't know how much. I was taller than girls. And all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom. I don't know.
I got tall. Yeah.
That happened to me one summer. We would go swimming at the community pool. We had a membership there.
Yeah.
And the kids would always bully me, the older kids. Like in the water, they'd try and drown, like they'd pretend drown you and they'd bully you.
Yeah.
And I remember one summer I just grew up.
Yeah.
And I remember I was tossing them out of the pool. And they were like, "Holy crap, you grew!"
Were you drinking beer?
Yeah, I was just like,
"You're the giant of the pool."
I was like, yeah. And he was 7'4".
Yeah.
And when he died, they measured him, and he was like 6'9.5". Which I know that happens. Like my dad, when I was a kid, he was 6'3".
Yeah.
And I'm 6'2".
6'2".
So my dad was an inch taller than me, but by the time my dad got older and passed away, he was probably 4 or 5 inches shorter.
You shrink, yeah.
Yeah, you shrink. You get all that compression.
Yeah.
Now he didn't drink. He wasn't an excessive drinker, although he loved getting drunk, and he wasn't an excessive eater, A lot of people would bring him big portions, but he actually ate like a normal human being. He would even get mad and say, "Bring me the same amount of food you brought him." I don't. Yeah. But he could do it if he wanted to. He hated wrestling Macho Man.
Really?
He hated wrestling that guy because he said he put on way too much baby oil and that would annoy him. And Macho Man was like, away? Yeah, and Macho Man was just like, "I'm gonna do it," and he would get mad because he would wear it. But and another weird fact about him is he loved farting on his opponents.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he loved it. And they said that he could fart for like 30 seconds straight.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard he was... I probably heard it. Yeah. Dude, I heard he was doing it on set at Princess Bride. Like, them fucking beer farts, dude.
Yeah. And he would just sit there and just cut one for 30 seconds. Damn. He weighed 520 pounds.
Can you imagine while he's passed out in the lobby, those farts, you know those long farts you do when you're sleeping? You ever woken yourself up from one of those farts?
No.
Or like one of, your girl or anything, like, it's like, really? We're like that now? That kind of relationship? Oh, yeah. We're just farting in front of each other now?
Yeah, my dad used to love telling the joke. He says, "How do you know when the honeymoon's over?" He says, "The first time you fart and then pull the covers over her head." Oh. Yeah. First time you fart in bed and then pull the covers over your head, you know the Dutch oven? Over. Yeah, the Dutch oven. He hated shopping, and I understand exactly why he hated shopping.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not that big of a guy. If you were to put me up like in the big guy categories, I'm a small big guy. Like really I am. I'm like 6'2". I wear like 2X to 3X size shirts, and you got the big guy categories where they're wearing 6X and 7X shirt. I'm not nowhere near that. Yeah. But I'm a smaller big guy. Well, he couldn't find anything to fit. No. Some of the articles that I read said that he wore like a size 22 shoe, but the boots they have in the museum, because he lived in North Carolina. He had a little ranch. And he loved riding around his ATV, taking care of his animals. Yeah. Right? Because when he was a kid, he started out as a laborer. And they said he could do the labor of 3 men by himself, which I believe. I mean, move those cinder blocks. All right. I mean, he was extremely strong. One of his buddies had a compact car, a super compact. And just for shits and giggles, he'd move the car. He'd pick it up and move it. Wow. And put it somewhere else so his buddy couldn't find it.
Who do you think recruited him?
They recruited him. He started in France. They saw his talent. I have all that information here, but I got
somebody must have been. We could use this retard.
They did,
giant retard.
But it wasn't.
With all due respect,
it wasn't that he was. It wasn't that he was not smart. Mm-hmm. Although he dropped out of school in 8th grade. Yeah, and he went to work. He goes, "I'm going to be a mule," Yeah. And then at age 17, he started wrestling in Paris, and they watched him, and from age 17 to age 19, he was kind of wrestling there and learning how to wrestle, and all that information's there. Trying to see if I have it here. I have it, but I lost it. But
is there any women that like ex-girlfriends or anything? Like, I would like to know.
Yeah, right? I don't know.
I don't know why I'm obsessing how big that dong was.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I want to know.
Yeah. But he went from, I had the name, but he went from France and wrestled in Canada because Quebec is French-Canadian. Yeah. So the promoter that saw him in France, and I was going to say it's like, I suck at French, but it's like Vaulois, right? Sees him, takes him to Canada, and that's when he starts wrestling in Canada and in the U.S. at the same time. And then he starts wrestling for one of the smaller, because back then there were smaller groups. Yep. And he was wrestling for one of those small groups, and it all kind of combined. Yeah. And he was an instant star when he hit. Wow. Right. Matter of fact, you could say that Hulk Hogan's career was also made because Andre the Giant existed. Yeah. Right. And so it was like
that Hulk rivalry.
Hogan, Hulk Hogan was a rookie wrestling against Andre the Giant. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
I mean, when he wrestled Andre the Giant on, I think it was a WrestleMania. It was like Huge, man. Mm-hmm. I think Hulk even picked him up at one point.
Yeah.
He actually picked up André the Giant.
Yeah, it's 520 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting down to the last little details here on the podcast that I was going to say he hated shopping, but he was a big-time online shopper, or back then, which was QVC, which is the Home Shopping Network.
He loved those catalogs, too.
He'd love shopping there because he didn't have to go to the store and buy the stuff.
Yeah.
As a big guy, I know it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I bet.
But this is one of the things that I had heard, and I looked it up, and one of the reasons I chose to do this episode on the podcast was that André the Giant, while he was in New York, actually got drunk outside of a pub. He was waiting for a car to pick him up, and he fell and hurt someone by accident.
Whoa.
Right? So you imagine a tower of a 520-pound dude landing on you, and somebody got hurt.
Yeah.
So after that, the city of New York actually had a plainclothes policeman follow him around everywhere he went so that he wouldn't get drunk and pass out and hurt someone.
Whoa. Yeah, because that's a
hazard.
Yeah, it's a hazard.
I have a welding machine that's got an engine in it. That welding machine weighs like 600 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
So you just go, man, if that lands on your toe,
you're not going anywhere.
Your toe's gone.
Yeah.
You know? So this guy weighed 520. So that was one of the first reasons that I said this episode, this would be a good. Of course, The Princess Bride, I was a fan.
Yeah.
On The Princess Bride. And I was a fan. I kind of knew who he was. And I wasn't really into it that much. This is another interesting fact. Rocky got inspired to do the scene with Hulk Hogan watching André the Giant and another boxer have a spat.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying, and I had it, but I can't remember. Anyway,
wow.
And the last weird fact, and the one that I thought was like, wow, that's amazing, makes you kind of wonder. He died in 1993. He flew to Paris.
Yeah.
To his dad's funeral, and he was there for a couple of weeks, and he passes away in his sleep.
In his sleep, apnea.
It was from heart failure. Oh, wow. Congenital heart failure.
Yeah.
So it makes you kind of wonder, like, did he die of a broken heart, or was it just physical? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he goes, and there's pictures of him and his dad all over the place. But so he had a good relationship with his dad. But he goes to visit his dad. He goes to his dad's funeral. He's there. He decides to extend his stay because his mom's birthday's coming up, and they find him dead. And I thought tragic, man. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and not the best birthday present.
No, but not the best birthday present, and also it makes you kind of wonder what that if it was because of a connection, or if it was because of just health issues.
Yeah, it's sad because you see the talent and how big he was, like. Not just physically, but like such a star. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine the movies he could have made after that?
You know what he did? His very first film role was?
He invented IMAX so he could fit on screen.
What? I'm like, what?
That's funny.
Half a rainforest.
Yeah. André the Giant jokes, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man.
Yeah. His very first film role.
I want to sing his dong in 3D. One more dong joke.
Hey, Vegas people, we don't know, bro. I mean, they got weird shit happening in Vegas, I guess.
We're all about dongs.
You're all about dongs. Yeah. He perked up when I said banana taco in the last episode.
Did. Yeah. Especially when you said choco taco.
Yeah, and he perked up. But his very first film role, he plays Bigfoot on The $6 Million Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Dude, there's a picture of him. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, online.
I didn't know he made other movies other than that.
He did a bunch of shows and movies.
I think he did something with Billy Crystal, other than The Princess Bride, something else.
Yeah, but that was a very big thing to do in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
Painted green, you know?
Yeah.
So His very first film role was he played Bigfoot on the $6 Million Man.
Wow.
And it was like a 2-part series. So
yeah,
it's great. He was from what I hear, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
I liked his character on The Princess Bride, and I thought it was a lot of weird facts. 156 beers.
Wow, bro.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I think that my buddies here in Juarez could probably drink that. Pretty close to that if they tried.
I wonder if you ever did beer bongs. You ever done a beer bong? Shotguns?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm 45, bro. It's like
one of my saddest moments as an alcoholic was I had friends over for a party. We all drank. I fell asleep last, woke up first, and then everybody's still sleeping all over the place. And I had this beer titty.
You checked out everybody's dong?
I did. I made sure they slept it with. I had this beer titty bong, and I was trying to do one by myself. I was still wasted. I'm like, I want to do another one, and then I hung it up on something, and then I was trying to pour it, and then as I'm pouring it, it's going down. I'm like, okay, it's going, and all of a sudden the fucking thing just falls on me. It was sad.
Sad and pathetic.
Yeah.
You knew you had to change at that point.
I had to change. I didn't change.
I bought one shaped like a dong. Just
that one, now I could hold it with my mouth.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry,
Heaven. Mom. I know, but that wraps up this episode of the Shit Podcast. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for the invite, bro.
Giant. Where can people find you? I think you can do it.
Yeah, people can find me on Fred Recker on everything else, freddycorrea.com. And you can find all my social media right there, FredReker. And I also have a podcast called Thanks for the Invite, and which I want to have you on there soon. So
be great. Yeah, and dude, I loved your work with Selena. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you, bro. Yeah, she was great. She was my giant.
You're your giant.
Yeah.
But
not a big dong.
Not a big
dong. Yeah, very different.
But you can find me as Tu Amigo Sam on my YouTube page and my social media. You can find me as Está Cagado Podcast on Spotify and different platforms for podcasts. That wraps up this episode of the Shit Podcast. Thank you all for joining us. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell, leave your comments, whatever. Thanks for all the support. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you.